In Part 2 of Lecture 2, we will discuss editing files using VI. As hard as it may seem to believe, a lot of terminals early in the days of Unix didn't necessarily have cursor control keys. For that reason, when you were working with VI, it became very helpful for there to be regular keys that you could use to move the cursor left, right, up, and down. The primary keys for this purpose were H, J, K, and L. H and L were left and right respectively, and it's easy to remember that because of these four, H was the leftmost and L was the rightmost. In terms of J and K, the way that I would remember this typically was that J is for jump and K is for kick. If you jump up, you're going to come down, and K, if you kick, something's going to go flying in the air. I realize that is a little ludicrous, but it does work, believe it or not. Additionally, if you are looking to go to the beginning of the line, hitting 0 will take you there. Similarly, $ will take you to the end of the current line. If you're looking to get to the beginning of the next line, you can do that with either the Enter key or the plus key. The minus key will take you to the beginning of the previous line. There are a lot of keys and commands that will move you or miraculously move the cursor around the screen, and it may seem like a big deal to learn them. Now, if you take a look at the example here, we have the text, hello there, space, today is, and on the next line, Thursday, period, space. It, on the line below that, is raining, and it is, on the last line, humid. Now, let's take a look at how we got there. If I start out at the beginning on the capital H of hello, and hit the dollar key, it'll take me to the S of is. After this, hitting the Enter key and the spacebar twice will take me to the U of Thursday. Once I'm there, if I press J twice, that will take me to the M of humid. Now, I realize this is a bit much. After a certain point, you get very comfortable with it, and it's something that becomes fairly natural. In the meantime, you can use the cursor control keys on your keyboard if you prefer to do that. The commands that we've learned so far regarding moving the cursor around are not the only ones that we have. W will move us to the next word or punctuation. E will move us to the end of the next word or punctuation. Move to the beginning of the previous word using B. Close parenthesis, move to the beginning of the next sentence. Open parenthesis, move to the beginning of the current sentence. Close brace, move to the beginning of the next paragraph. Open brace, move to the beginning of the current paragraph. And in this regard, we've pretty much covered all the ways that we'll ever need to move the cursor. And if you are comfortable with them, they can be very, very helpful. The thing that also becomes important to remember is that in VI, sentences are considered to end when there is a period, a question mark, or an exclamation point. Paragraphs in VI begin after a blank line. Now, let's start, and we'll recognize that if I am in the text that you see on the screen here, and the cursor is on the E of hello, and I hit W, what this will do is to take me to the W of world, the beginning of the next word. If I'm there and I press the closed brace, it will take me to the line below the word file. Since there is the beginning of a new paragraph, because it's a line that begins after a hard return, this is considered to be a new line. Pressing the B after the close brace will take me back one word, which is to the period after the word file. Now, at this time, if I press the close brace again, it will take me down to the line after file, and the W will take me to the beginning of the next word. The commands illustrated here are a lot more useful than ones we had before. Those can be helpful, but holding down the right cursor control key or the down key can serve the purpose. These, on the other hand, are another story. Will take us through much more code. Control F will take us forward one entire screen. That's 24 lines. That's not bad. Similarly, Control B will take us backward one whole screen. And again, Control F forward, Control B backward. Control D will move us forward half a screen. Control U will take us backward half a screen. G will take us to the very end of the file. Now, what I can do if I wish is I can also combine this with a number in front of the command. So 3 Control F will take me forward 3 screens. 99G will take me to line 99. And this becomes especially useful. Now that we've learned everything that we really could possibly need to learn about moving around within a document, let's talk about modifying text. The 4 commands that you see here are particularly useful, although sometimes you can argue there may be other things that might be a little more helpful or not. Lowercase r followed by a character will take whatever character the cursor is currently pointing to, and it will replace that with whatever you type afterwards. So if I have the number 23 and I have the cursor pointing to the 2 of 23, and I then type R4, instead of being 23, it'll now be 43. A capital R allows me to overwrite an extended string. From the time I hit the capital R until I hit the escape key, it will replace all of the text under which the cursor is currently located. It works largely in the same way as the input mode does. The difference here is that you're not inputting additional text. You are inputting text that is replacing what you previously had. Capital J allows you to merge one or more lines, 2 or more lines together. If you have it play on the cursor under one line and you type 2J, those 2 lines will be joined together. You can do this for 2, 3, or more lines. Obviously, anytime you have more than 255 characters on a line, it's going to be full up, and obviously it's something you have to be very careful about. The tilde allows you to switch the case of the letters above the cursor. So if I have, for example, the name Smith, little s, and then in capital letters MITH, and I do use the tilde all 5 times, I'll get the little s replaced with a capital S, the capital MITH replaced by a lowercase MITH. A few quick examples of how we go about modifying text. In this particular case, I have the cursor pointing to the S of the word is, and I type a capital R followed by T space IS, and then followed by an escape key. What I will get is, now it ice time for all good men too, whatever. I have replaced the T, the S rather, of is with a T, and the TH of the with an IS. Obviously, this might not be something that we would want to write, but this is the effect of the command that I typed. I can also use J to join 2 lines together. If I have the cursor currently on the S of ISE and hit capital J and hit the J, I will merge the 2 lines together. I can then use 3 tildes if I'm positioned on the F of 4 to convert the whole thing to uppercase. Full screen editors need to be able to know when to transmit a control code that will tell the terminal to do various things: where to move the cursor, whether or not to clear the screen, whether or not to beep to let the user know they did something they ought not to have done. So the first thing we need to know, or more accurately, what our Linux system needs to know, is which type of terminal we're using. On many systems, that means writing set term equals VT100 or set term equals VT300. That will set the shell variable to indicate the type of terminal you have, so it will use the correct device driver, which is the operating system routine that controls the input device for you. You should not have this issue working on either Panther in the computer lab or working with CompSci. They will pretty much allow you to work with one that is compatible with your PC. If you don't know what the initial terminal type is, if you write echo and then $term with term all in caps, that'll tell you what it is. But again, this is not something that should be an issue for you if you're doing this from using PuTTY, using a PC or Mac, and of course doing this on CompSci or Panther. As much as we may like what we've written, there will be times that we will be looking to delete text. And we can delete either a single character, a single word, or even multiple lines. X by itself will delete a single character. If I place a number before the X, it will delete X number of characters. DW is short for delete word, and it will delete the rest of the current word, starting from where the cursor is. The rest of the word before it will be left alone. I can write a number before DW, and it will delete that number of words. D$ will delete the rest of the line. D close parenthesis will delete everything up to the next sentence. DD will delete the current line, and if I put between the two D's a number, it will delete multiple lines. We can see here another example. In this case, we have an event announcement. The date is December 31st, 2009, the room 110 Hagedorn Hall of Enterprise, the time exactly 10 a.m. If I have the cursor located on the 1 of 12, and I then type 5x, all I will be left with is the /09 afterwards. If I then write D close parenthesis, it will take away everything else after the word date and the colon. If there's anything left and I write D2D, it will delete the two lines, the line the cursor's on as well as the line afterwards. And typing U will undo the most recent change. I can type it additional times in many instances to undo earlier changes as well. We can cut and paste, and we can copy and paste. All of this is due to the fact that there is a buffer that we can make use of. Lines and even individual characters that are deleted are saved in a buffer and can be put anywhere else, whether it's a single character, a single word, or multiple lines. We use the P for that, P for put. Lowercase p will place it either to the right or below the current position. Capital P will place it to the left or above the current position. Here you see an example. Imagine for a moment on 4 lines I have the words line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4, each of those on a separate line. I start out with my cursor under the line 1. D2D will delete lines 1 and 2. If I now go down 1 line and hit P, I'll have line 1 and 2 after line 4. It's important to remember that that J is there and we will be going down 1 line. It becomes useful to be able to find where certain text appears within the file. If we're looking ahead, we are, let's say, at line 10, and we want to see if the word we're looking for appears sometime after line 10, or more specifically after our position on line 10, slash, and then we type in the text. If, on the other hand, I want to go backwards, I'm, let's say, at line 10, and I want to see if it appears somewhere in lines 1 through 9, or before where we are on line 10, I'll use a question mark. I mentioned earlier that we can use the yank command to save text in a buffer so that we can copy it put it somewhere else later. Effectively, that's copy and paste. The way in which I would do this is to use the yank command. I can yank a line with simply y, or I can yank a word with yw, or to the end of the line with $, or simply y, to yank until the next sentence. Afterwards, I go to the place I want to move it to, or move the copy to, and type either a lowercase p to have it to the right or below, or an uppercase P to get it to the left or above. I can use the delete character commands again, together with capital or lowercase p, to move text as opposed to copying it. I mentioned earlier that the commands available in EX, which include all the ED commands and a few others, can be used in VI. All I need to do is to be in command mode and type a colon. WQ, which will write my file and then quit, works this way, and colon Q exclamation point will allow me to quit without saving my work. Here are a few EX commands that can be fairly useful. Colon and a line number or sequence of line numbers. S / old pattern / new pattern / will replace the text that I'm looking for on a given line or on a given range of lines. Or address D will delete those particular lines. G will globally search for an old pattern, and then afterwards S, as you see it here, will replace the old pattern with the new pattern. Our file will read in the file, and :bang command will allow me to perform a Unix, or in this case Linux, shell command there. When we talk about addresses in terms of EX commands, we're talking about the line number or the range of line numbers. So if I wrote 1, 5s, I would be looking to do this substitution on the lines 1 through 5. Period, 30 would be from the current line all the way through the 30th line. 30, $, would be from line 30 to the end. Now, the ones that I've mentioned so far are talking about absolute line numbers. I can use the specific line number, or I can use period for the current line, $ for the last line. The next two are relative. Period means from the current line, comma, +5 means including the next 5 lines. Whereas -3, +1 means from 3 lines above to 1 line below. A few miscellaneous characters and meta characters to talk about. Control L will refresh the screen. Now, among meta characters, these are not characters where we literally are talking about the characters you see here. The little cap means whatever is at the beginning of the line. $ means whatever is at the end of the line. It'll match a period to any single character. And in the case of an asterisk, it'll match the preceding character any number of times, from 0 or more occurrences. If I have a set of characters inside square brackets, it'll match any one of those characters. And if I begin that with a cap, it will match characters that are not in that string. Let's take a look at a few examples of this. /capxyz will search for a place where xyz is at the beginning of the line. /line period $ is looking where the line ends with the word line and a period afterwards. /cap $ is looking for an empty line, because you have the beginning and the end with nothing in between. S/x period splat $/hello looks for a case where the word x, with the letter x rather, appears after any one character any number of times, and then replaces it with hello. :1, $s means it's going to do the substitution on every line, where it's going to find a number because what you have, a digit rather, that you have in the range 0 to 9, it'll replace it with a dash, and it will do that, and the G is global, meaning it'll do it for every occurrence of this that it finds, even on a given line. In the other case, what you see here is it'll do this for every line. It'll take every instance where you find things that are not letters, replace them with a 0, and it'll do it however many times on the line it needs. The one afterwards, you see, it'll look for united followed by a blank space and any one character and followed by ICK, and replace that with USA. Now, in the two cases here of period splat, we're looking at any given character. It doesn't have to be the same character each and every time.